Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Jay back at it again, and today we got The Problem with the Performative Man by That Joke. You already know what the deal is, man. Shout out Joke for the original video. But with that being said, 100K on both Jays here and Jays there by the end of the year. And without further ado, let's get started.
So one of the current trends on social media, particularly revolving around Gen Z, is the collective bashing on what is dubbed the performative man. And from what I can gather,
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't even know what this was until someone told me
the
about
so-called
it.
performative man is one who presents himself inauthentically for social validation, particularly to attract a romantic partner. In other words, it's a dude who poses as someone.
Dude basically putting on like a, on the cartoons, they put like a trench coat on to sneak into the movie theater. That's what this is, from what I know.
He's not for social clout. Being a performer.
Yeah, the macho, you know what I'm saying? The super baggy pants, you got these on, they might dress like a Tyler the Creator fan and all that, you know what I'm saying? They always reading a book, probably about like feminist literature or something like that, you feel what I'm saying?
Man is a type of peacocking, which is when someone acts differently from what they normally would when they feel they want to attract someone else. And while the term is relatively new, this concept is something that's existed for millennia. It's just now the current image of a...
But this thing has always been a thing. Bro, thing about performative male, it's not new. Dudes been doing shit for girls, for female validation since the beginning of time, bro. Why you think dudes will be on their last dollar? I'm talking about paycheck to paycheck, but they got the newest J's. For the hoes. Why do you think dudes, the moment a bad girl goes around on the basketball court, they want to start moving like prom Kobe? For the hoes. Why do you think that when you're in a party and some pretty, very attractive girls come around, dudes want to start talking about some, hey, bro, remember when I let you borrow that shirt in the 9th grade? Man, that was crazy. For the girls, bro. Dudes been doing this for years, decades, centuries, bro. Dudes been pulling on acts for the girls. Why do you think when a girl goes around, let's say you talk with your homie, y'all just talking normally, the moment a girl comes around, he want to start talking about some, yeah, man, that was OD crazy, like, I didn't expect. For the girls, niggas been doing this for years. Like, this performative male concept is not new. It's been done forever. You feel me?
A performative man is a dude that drinks matcha, wears a tote bag, reads books in public spaces, and listens to female artists like Leve and Claro with wired earbuds. Now, I don't have a problem with the whole aesthetic itself, but I more so dislike how the trend has devolved from calling out wolves in sheep's clothing, which are toxic men who fake leading into this whole aesthetic just to attract and manipulate women, to just straight up bashing without any nuance to it. First,
like, bro, like, I don't it's one thing if niggas is reading a book in the gym, cause it's like, alright, bro, you moving, it's either A, you're not focused on the lift cause you're trying to read, or B, you're not focused on the book because you're lifting. So it's like you just doing too much. You trying to aura farm. But if it's like you just reading outside, like there's nothing wrong. I read outside, bro. I like to read outside.
To attract and manipulate women to just straight up bash.
Like, bro, he just chill. The nigga just chilling, bro. He just got on like some regular, like I think that's Adidas, a black Adidas shoes. He got some jeans and a white. He just chilling, bro. It'd be different if this nigga was in the bench press machine doing barbell curls and then he was reading a book and this. It's different. He just chilling.
First of all, I think the term performative man just doesn't make any sense.
Performative man, like, bro, dudes on every level do something for the girls, bro. There's a dude who has probably grown out his locks at least a little bit for the girls. I know I did. I'm gonna be real with you. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not about to sit here and start capping like I grew out my dreads to find myself, bro. If you handsome with dreads and you got a good physique, it's a cheat code. Like you got the you can get like the demigod build. You get the demigod build, you like a 90 overall. Like that's definitely part of why I grow my hair out. It also helps with like confidence and like I look in the mirror and I'm just like, damn, I look good. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm that dude. Like that helps a lot. But it's also like dudes will perform on a higher level for validation. And it doesn't just have to be girls. Like if you go to a job interview, you're performing. Like you're not going to be trying to talk to the job interviewer like you would talk to your best friend if y'all just kicking it on the couch. Like you talking in a more professional setting. yes ma'am, no ma'am. You know what I'm saying? If they ask you why do you want this job, it's like, oh well, you know, your mission statement was this, that, and the third, and I know I can honor that mission statement. I want to be a reliable asset to this company, even though damn well both of y'all know the person asking the questions and the person answering, y'all both know y'all just you know that you want it for the money, and so does the interviewer. But the interviewer is testing if you can be professional and if you can, you know, be more subtle with what you really want. So that's what it is. That's what they're testing in that regard. But yeah, bro, dudes do stuff for the girls all the time. Like, why do you think dudes flex on IG? It's not to get attention from other dudes. It's to get attention from the baddies. Like, this has been going on forever. And it's not just the 5'9" pretty white boy, you know what I'm saying, reading a book outside on a New York park bench about feminist literature from, I don't know, like 2018. Like, it's not just that archetype. Like, every dude to some extent has performed for the attention of either a girl or to get paper. You feel what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to this shit. there's levels to this shit. Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, dudes will quite literally pose up and flick up in front of a car that's not theirs just so girls think they got bread like that. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you.
I dislike the term because when you think about it, aren't we all performative?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we all performative, you feel what I'm saying?
Kind of human interaction involves some form of performance. The way you speak, the way you dress, the way you do your...
Like, you trying to perform to look better. You on the football field, you trying to perform so you can get a scholarship or go D1 or go to the league. You performing on the basketball court so you can get picked up by the big leagues. You are performing in school so you can get a good scholarship and go to a high-end college. You are performing for a desired outcome. So everybody does that to some extent.
Hair and anything else you wear on your body is a signifier of who you are.
Like, me pulling up to the date in a clean ass fit is I'm performing so I can look better. I'm not about to pull up to the first date in pajama pants or old, you know what I'm saying, worn out white tee and some old Nike slides. Like, I'm not pulling up to the day like that. You know, I might wear a little polo shirt with the black jeans and the Jordans. You know, I might pull up with like a black compression shirt, some sweats, you know, some new Jordans, you know, something like that. You feel me?
And judge. Even if you wear the most unassuming outfit that you can think of. Like,
yeah, see, that's too skinny.
Jeans, sneakers, and a
the hoes is tight.
T-shirt. People who don't even know you will assume things about your character, like that you have no sense of style or that you just don't want to stand out too much that particular day. So why exactly are there suddenly TikToks and the like?
I ain't gonna lie, I've never in my life been into skinny jeans, bro. That shit. Skinny jeans have always just... Skinny jeans just ain't it, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Men who just dress a little zesty, style their hair like Benson Boone.
Yeah, like, cause some of these dudes just trying to do it for the hoes. Yeah, but it's like, I mean, some niggas just dress zesty. Some dudes just dress, you know what I'm saying, on like they look like they might be into the rainbow sphere and all that. Some dudes like matcha. Some dudes like to read in public. Like, I don't think it's crazy for you to read in public, especially if you're just like on a park bench. Like, if you're reading at a party, that's one thing, because I ain't gonna lie, you getting no processing done. But if you just read on like an outside park bench, you can definitely learn a couple things and, you know, get some sunlight, get some fresh air, and read a book. Feel me?
Wear totes and just happen to read women's literature as performative, because these men are being just as performative as those who wear Lakers jerseys, or bikers wearing their biker get-ups, or even hicks wearing red hats.
Yeah, like, you being performative. Yes, you may not be dressing, you know what I'm saying, like a Lil Nas X fan, but you wearing the Jordans with the newest drip, you know, the newest Gucci belt that you got from the the Dollar Tree and all that. You are performative as well. You are definitely performing for the girls, bro. Like, let's be honest for real, brother. You're not buying Jordans for dudes. You're not buying Jordans so dudes can be like, man, I like your shoe. No, you buying it so the baddies think you got that bread and that drip. Come on now. We understand, like, I understand this ball game, man.
Heck, this aesthetic might even just be a sign of the times. The equivalent for this when I was a teenager was guys owning nothing but skinny jeans, shoe closets full of Nike Roshis or Stan Smiths, undercuts with hella hair product, and boba tea. This might be nothing more than just hating the new gen. Everything that you do, when viewed by others, is a performance. And online, this is the same thing. Anytime you post a story or something like that, you're performing a version of yourself to an audience, aka your following. following. Everything that you post on social media, and everything about that post, including the framing, the quality of the shot, the lighting, and the amount of post-processing, it all goes into creating performance for people, including yourself, to see. Even non-action is a performance on its own. By not posting on social media, you're performing the idea that you don't find enough value in it to be active like other people are. Even your profile picture is a performance, because it's what generates the first impression of your entire audience.
Yeah, if you look at my shit, you know I'm probably... If you look at my profile picture, number one, you know that I like anime. I'm probably a Solo Leveling fan, and that I might be a little teeny bit full of myself. Just a little bit. Just a teeny tiny bit might be cocky, but... Yeah, man, that's just kind of how it goes, man. Like, you are performing at all times in some regard. Like, you feel me?
Online persona. And I literally wrote my undergraduate thesis on this fact. So where am I going with all this? Whenever you interact with someone, you are always presenting to them what you want them to see, and not necessarily who you are. Thus, existing within society is a performance, and thus the term performative man doesn't make any sense, because everybody is performing something, whether they realize it or not. But in this context, so-called performative men are clowned on because it's the authenticity of the performance that comes into question. People aren't hating on these so-called performative men because they think it's cool to dunk on non-traditional men again like it's 2010, and every top-voted YouTube comment says fake and gay. People hate on them because they're half-assed.
Bro, some niggas are just zesty, bro. Some might be doing it for the hoes, but some are just zesty, bro.
For clout. The disgust towards today's so-called performative men is simply the antagonization of inauthenticity. Generally, we as a society dislike those who present themselves inauthentically. Think about sneakerheads who wear fakes but claims they're real. Fake friends that ask for favors but disappear in your time of need. And people with no integrity who are willing to lie through their teeth to get what they want. The question is, what are these so-called performative men performing as, and why are they doing it? Like I said earlier, performative men have existed for millennia. They're just the kind of people who pose as whatever is cool at the time so they look cultured and interesting to others, but they only have a surface level understanding of whatever culture they're trying to look like they're a part of, thus they end up being all style and no substance. And in typical Gen Z fashion, we found a new term for a concept that already has a word for it. These people are posers, and they pose as someone they're not because they want social validation and they believe that they will be rewarded by society. And in the context of the
this is OD. Nigga, a saxophone with the fucking that's OD. This is OD, bro. OD like a hoe.
Rewarded by society. And in the context of the so-called performative man, that reward is to be liked and noticed by women. It's why these so-called performative men are characterized as reading women's literature or self-help books in public, while also presenting themselves in a way that somewhat caters to the female gaze. In the context of the hundreds of memes and TikToks, performative men are trying to signify that they're better partners because they understand the plight of the female gender. But in reality, they're actually as fake and toxic as red-pilled alpha males, who also tend to have an end goal of attracting women and also fail at attracting women. Because these so-called performative men only really look like they read feminist literature, but they don't actually, otherwise they would realize something as simple as you shouldn't think of and treat women like objects. Seriously, these two are different sides.
Yeah, if you know anything about female psychology, you know that girls do not like posing ass dudes. Like, they don't like that stuff, man. I'm being real. Like, girls do not like Mr. Poser, Mr. I'm doing it for the hells. Like, bro. Girls do not like that type of stuff. I'm just being real with y'all, man. Girls do not enjoy that type of, like, dudes, like, you know what I'm saying? You can be saucy and still be yourself. I know, like, I'll be moving with sauce and I'll be just like, I'm just be chilling, but I still have people gravitate towards me. I still got girls asking for, my number and whatnot, because I'm just be chilling. Like, I don't try to put on an act, if that makes sense.
But to give a more casual example, it's like someone who wears a bunch of Golden State Warriors merch because they're a popular team right now, and then they claim to be a fan, but they can't name anyone on the team besides Curry or Draymond. And this is the kind of perfect example that points out how dumb this whole so-called performative man thing is. Because the real problem is that...
Yeah, because people been doing this, been posers since... eons ago, nigga.
People are assuming inauthenticity without anything to go off of. Going back to the Warriors jersey example, not everybody who wears a Warriors jersey but can't be bothered to remember the names of players like Brandon Podjemski and Buddy Hield isn't a fake fan. What if they're a new fan and just started getting into the hobby? What if they're just
if someone just likes to read outside? What if someone just likes to go out on the bench and read a book because it feels nice? Like, you're making an assumption that this dude's doing it for the hells when he's actually just enjoys reading.
Casual fan who only watches during the playoffs because they don't have the time to follow the entire regular season? What if they're just not a fan at all? What if the shirt is just a gift from a relative and they don't want it going to waste? What if they just like the style? Because while a jersey has its social connotations, it's ultimately still a piece of clothing in a specific style and color blocking. And while it's perfectly normal to make assumptions about a person wearing a jersey, there's always the possibility that your assumption is wrong. And that represents the problem with treating so-called performative men with blanket disgust. How can you tell that a so-called performative man is being inauthentic in their interest? How can you tell that someone is posing as something he's not to earn social clout? A lot of the TikToks and Reels I've seen surrounding this trend like to exaggerate the performative aspect of these men by showing that they lack self-awareness or are reading their books upside down. But while these are obviously staged, I've also seen some that are just straight up recording someone who is minding their own business.
Yeah, some niggas will literally just be reading a book, having fun, and then niggas will be like, performative. Like, I don't even know you. Niggas can't read newspapers. Niggas can't just go outside, bro.
Their life without bothering anyone. In most cases, especially if you don't directly interact with someone, you won't actually know if someone is being performative or not. So why assume inauthenticity? Not everything has to be driven by the need for social validation and the desire to find a romantic partner and procreate. Some people just happen to like stuff. What if a guy just likes the taste of matcha? Or what if coffee gives them palpitations so they need to find a substitute? What if someone just got tired of wearing jeans and t-shirts all the time? What if a guy's just a klutz and keeps losing their AirPods so they just bit the bullet and got wired earphones rather than dumping hundreds of dollars on shit they can't take care of? There are so many different possibilities for why people are the way they are. So what do we have to gain by assuming inauthenticity? Now, I won't say that so-called performative men don't exist, because there will always be a subset of a group who inauthentically engages in a culture as a way to attract women. For example, in recent years, run clubs have gained the notoriety for having men join mainly to hit on women as opposed to a genuine interest in the hobby. But they will never admit to this because there is a social stigma against men doing something with the express purpose of wanting to meet women, which is an entire video on its own.
Bro, running clubs when you date, like, what's wrong with that? It's like you can't, oh, you going on a run just to meet girls. Yes, and nigga, like, what the fuck? Like, I can't, bro, like, I can't seek out the opposite sex as a man. The fuck? Like, I'm a dude, bro. I got testosterone in my shit. I got testosterone, bro. I gotta get some, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, why are you doing it you doing it just to meet new girls? Yes. Because that's what community is. You go out and you do stuff so you can meet other people. Like, what are we doing, bro?
But here's the funny thing about the so-called performative men, is that they don't need to be outed and called out for being inauthentic, because that's eventually going to show anyway. If the whole purpose of being a so-called performative man is to try and attract someone with similar values, then once they actually enter a relationship, the man's true colors are going to show, and the woman is going to realize that the guy has absolutely zero substance behind him at all. But by blanketing an entire group with disgust due to the deplorable actions of a few, the only people that this really hurts are those who are authentic and those who may be interested in joining the culture, but ultimately don't out of fear of being accused of being fake. Now, for the most part, it's one of those trends that I don't really care about, and especially not enough to make a video about, but there's one part of this trend that genuinely worries me. Because part of being a performative male is apparently reading a book in public.
Niggas can't read. That's what I'm saying, like, being performative is reading a book dressed in a little zesty and having wired earphones? Nigga, what? Like, niggas, bro, I've been called that before, bro. I was just reading this on, like, you performative? Nigga, I can't educate myself? I can't read about how to make money? I can't read about how to better my life in public? No, I just gotta be cooped up in the crib reading. Like, it doesn't make no type of, like, being performative is reading a book, nigga. Are you congratulating me for reading? Like, what are we doing, bro? Like, that's what I'm saying.
At a social function, in public, as in a coffee shop or a park.
What does a performative male look like?
Sits down at a local coffee shop and
I don't know what a performative male looks like until you actually talk to the motherfucker, so you know if they actually know ball knowledge or not.
Silver Lake is reading Sylvia Plath. Is sipping on a matcha. Probably owns a Claro puppy hoodie.
When I see them reading a book, I feel like men should not read. That's performative.
What if they're...
Yeah, I mean, you're getting these interviewers. This is probably like a club or something, so I ain't tripping. Bro.
reading Catcher in the Rye at the park?
I don't like that. Like, they shouldn't.
What if they relate to the main character on a deep emotional level?
These are places that have environments that lend themselves perfectly to reading because of their relative peacefulness. Admittedly, yeah, I'm someone who reads books in public, and that's because I get a lot more reading done when I'm reading at a coffee shop rather than in front of my desk, because then I'll just watch another episode of House.
Yeah, because I'm reading from my desk. I'm trying to get. I'm probably gonna. My bad. I'm trying to record a reaction, but I'm trying to get work done. I'm trying to write a script. But if I'm just reading outside, it's like, okay, the only thing I can really focus on is just reading, so that's what I'm just gonna do, bro. You feel what I'm saying? But I don't understand how it's performative to enjoy reading. Because reading is just something good that you should try to... Reading is just a net benefit. You feel me?
In fact, if a coffee shop is completely empty sans myself and a few employees, I think that would be an even better reading spot. But apparently, reading in public as a man...
And this is why you don't live to please other people. You don't live for the validation of other people. Because you do that shit... Someone is somewhere is always gonna find something about you to nitpick, which is why you don't do that. You live for yourself, or you live to help other people, you know, in need. Like your goal is to either be the best version of yourself you can be, or your goal is to retire your mom. That's what it is. You don't live to just please other people and do stuff to please them, because you will then be miserable.
Is performative now, and this can be problematic because at some point you're not fighting inauthenticity anymore, and it's just straight up anti-intellectualism. Will you call a man performative in a derogatory fashion for doing something as innocent as reading a book in public, and treat reading in a coffee shop or the park as some kind of ploy to pick up women? That's insultingly anti-intellectual. Seriously, men and women for that matter have always
like niggas can't read. Like that's what niggas ain't even doing. They just chilling, bro.
Books in coffee shops. This is not some new concept just because a small group of young men have decided that it's the new meta for attracting women. These are public spaces where anyone can do whatever they want. In fact, some would even argue that they're better for doing things like reading or working on a laptop because you're eliminating the temptation of potential distractions like video games and a bed. I get that the whole purpose of the meme is to call out wolves in sheep's clothing, but that's a nuance that gets lost in the void that is social media, because then you're teaching an entire generation of TikTok-brained young adults that
reading in public is bad. Yes, if there's 100 dudes, 2 of them might be doing it to look cool, but some may actually just enjoy reading. Hell, I'd argue that reading on a park bench outside in temperate weather is actually a better reading spot than in my house, because I'm less tempted to go on my phone and scroll when I'm outside.
Reading, a hobby that is inherently ungendered and has been so for centuries, that people have done and continue to do in public spaces, is something that's unmanly. I hate this trend because it perpetuates the idea that men only read in public because it's in an effort to get laid. I get that the messaging started as men shouldn't be performative about reading as a ploy to attract women. They should be genuine in their interest regardless of female attention. But eventually, this will be understood as men shouldn't read. It's just too much.
Yeah, because social media quickly, and I mean very quickly, can go from something nuanced and just something as a joke to someone taking it very seriously, and now we're in this scenario. I'm just being real with y'all, man. That is how a lot of social media works. It goes from something funny, you know, guys, this dude has a saxophone in his hand in the gym and reading a book about feminist literature. He's trying to look cool. And then it will quickly go to, I know this guy in jeans and a white tee isn't reading on a park bench. Like, that's the problem with social media. It's the problem with niggas. It's the issue.
The key takeaway here is simply to understand that you're not going to be able to please everyone. So the best way to live your life is the service to yourself. Whether you like it or not, you're a part of society, so you're going to be judged no matter what you do. The best way to go about life in this situation is to accept that some people are just going to always judge you negatively and assume the worst of you, and you can't change that fact. You should just do whatever makes you happy. If you like matcha, order matcha, even if some people will call it a girly drink and call you a...
Yeah, but that's about it for the video. That was a good video by my boy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out. That's Doc. Last Doc. Yo, that being said, shout out to that. That was a good video. But that being said, it's your boy Jay. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, and stay blessed, because it's your boy. And I'm out.